Welcome to Trust, Then Know, the Jackie Boyd Podcast, a podcast providing education, information, and mostly inspiration that will help you become the best version of yourself. Join host Jackie Boyd for engaging and intriguing conversations. Now, Trust, Then Know, the Jackie Boyd.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Trust and Know, the Jackie Boyd Podcast. We are your podcast that brings you information, education, but mostly inspiration to help you become the best version of yourself. We're on every second and fourth Tuesday of the month on all your major podcast platforms: Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram. All you have to do is put in Trust, T-R-U-S-T, then T-H-E-N, Know, K-N-O-W, and you'll find all of our episodes. Listen, we bring you people who have something to say because people are so interesting. And this month is Women's History Month, and I have a most exciting person with me today, and that is Miss Kim Knapp.
Thank you.
Hi, Kim.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And Kim and I were talking, and I was saying, you know what? We don't have to go back decades and decades and decades ago to find women who are doing phenomenal, trailblazing things. We have women right among us, and I definitely find you to be one of those women. I've had conversations with you, and everybody just loves Kim. So we want to know your secret sauce, Miss Kim.
If I have it, I'm going to give it to you.
Okay, because we're going to take it. Listen, Kim is originally from Illinois.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, and she actually has a very, interesting path here getting her to Florida. But you've been here 34 years.
No, my husband and I have been married.
Oh, your husband and you have been married 34 years.
Yes.
Got you. So you went from Illinois to Key West to New York and then back to Florida. Is that right? And you met your husband in New York.
In New York, yes.
Got it.
We both work for General Motors.
Got it. I love that because you move I find people who are willing to take a risk in their place where they live. That's pretty brave. And that was pretty brave of you. And you made Florida your home.
Yeah, well, I passed through Florida at one point in my life, and I knew I liked it. And we had an opportunity with General Motors for him to take an early retirement. It's like, you know what? If we could be anywhere, where do we want to be?
Got you.
So we took some trips down to Florida, a few different places. We just landed on Jacksonville. We felt like it was a place we'd want to raise a family.
Got it. Understood.
Right?
Understood. Okay.
Yeah.
So Kim is the 2026 president of the Northeast Florida Association of Realtors, and she is also the broker of Caldwell Banker Vanguard. And she is the mother of two and the grandmother of one. And you just have so much to offer. And so again, this being Women's History Month, I just wanted to talk to you. And if I could phrase this, it would be family, faith, real estate, because you love all of them. And I know your faith is the cornerstone of everything you are and what you do. So let's just jump right in about, what really, I'm serious, like that inspiration, that thing that you have, that certain something that you have that touches lives. Like, let's talk about that.
You're making me think about it. I've never really thought about it. I'm like sitting here thinking about it. And I had mentioned to you, we were chatting about when we were young, we weren't homeowners. We moved around a lot.
Yeah.
I'd start there that I went to a lot of schools from kindergarten to high school, like a lot. And being the new girl all the time.
Yes.
I think is humbling.
Okay.
Right. And you learn to have to make friends over and over and over again. And just listening to you talk, I'm like, I think that played a part early on of my independence and like I said, and learning to make friends.
I got you.
And I think that, for whatever reason, I was a little bit of an overachiever just because of life.
Okay.
Sometimes life, without getting into it all, it puts you in this position where you overachieve to compensate. So I did a lot of that, very young. But when you are achieving things, it can build a lot of confidence.
Got it.
Right. And so I think that when you have confidence and you know how to make friends, and then you could just be real, you're not trying to get anything from anybody.
Right.
I love working together and consensus and building teams and helping people, and people can smell someone, someone a liar, someone who's trying to. You can smell that from far away,
Right.
and so I think that people, if you just trust yourself enough to just be yourself, you'll find your tribe.
Gotcha.
And my son had said something to me. I just love you, he's so smart. But we were talking, and he said, Mom, there's some people that if they showed up in a room with the people they know from the different parts of their life, the friends from church, the friends from college, the people at work, who would they be in that room? And if you can't be one person
in all those spaces
with all those people at the same time,
Right.
something's wrong.
Got you.
And I thought, that's true.
Yeah.
And that's exhausting. And I think there's some people that don't feel like they're good enough for who they are, that they chameleon to different groups. And I guess what I would just say is you need to be okay with being who you are, and you'll find those tribes.
You'll find those
tribes.
And those people, you will attract those people to 100%. You. Right. And you'll repel people who aren't up.
Because that's exhausting.
It is exhausting.
It's exhausting to do that.
Yeah, having to wear so many different hats. I'm in this group today. Let me put on this hat. Now that's not to say that, we don't make adjustments. Because when I'm at my true, most authentic self, I'm silly and goofy and I laugh, I tell corny jokes and all that kind of stuff. But that's the true me.
Yeah.
But I know in certain settings I can't do that.
Well, right. There's decorum,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
Or maybe if you have certain, customers in real estate,
Yes.
if you're with seniors and they're from the South, I can tend to talk really fast. So I'm like, okay, Kim, dial it down, Right. So there's those adjustments,
Right.
but, not
the core person should be the same. Got it.
Yeah.
And I've seen you and I've talked to you firsthand, even when I was thinking about moving into this year and what my roles would be here. We had a great conversation. And, you talked to the person. You didn't say, well, this is my time and I could use you. You talked to my needs, my concerns at the time with me personally. I greatly appreciated that. Because as you said, you weren't trying to get anything. There wasn't an angle. You were just hearing where I was and what I was feeling and going through and what I thought I needed to do. And you said, hey, I remember when I was, and I had to take a step back and do this, that, or the other. That is really honorable.
Oh, thank you.
Because most people would, think about what's going to be in the best interest of them.
Yes, and that happens. And, I just don't know what standing I have to tell someone else what they ought to be doing in a moment in time with their life. Unless you're my kid. Well, then we might have a conversation.
I agree with you on that.
Then I might have that input. But otherwise, whether, and it rarely happens, I'll have an agent that's going to move, and go somewhere else. I don't get mad. I might be sad, that they're leaving. I'm disappointed, but I'm not mad. And I certainly don't think I have the right to tell someone else what they ought to be doing right now.
Right.
And so I think that's about, I guess, respect.
Yes. Respect.
I guess respect.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to be respected. If I have to do whatever that is, I don't need to run it by a committee.
Right. If
I'm deciding I need something in my life.
That's right. Yeah. Well, let me just say I appreciated that from you. Thank you so much. One of the things you did, I want to say in 2012, you started RE Bar Camp.
Yes.
And let's talk about that because that is a huge, absolutely fun and engaging event that happens every year at the top of the year for real estate professionals in this Northeast Florida area.
So Bar Camp, for those people who don't know, is a place where real estate agents come together and the room is set up where they're facing each other, right? You might have 2 or 3 rows. You're looking at each other. You have a facilitator who says, okay, we're in this room to talk about X. They might throw a couple of nuggets out and then ask people, to start sharing. Well, what do you put in your pre-listing presentation? What do you drop off before? What do you do when? Whatever. And
like
agents,
best practices.
Yeah, and agents just share, and it goes back and forth. Very open dialogue. I think, honestly, you could do it in any industry.
Okay.
Because I talk to other people, and they're like, nurses, we'd love to get together. Or, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Any industry. It's like, why are we reinventing the wheel? Let's learn from each other. And so I don't know, because that's what it is and that's what it's called. agents have agreed that they're okay in that moment, in that time, to do that.
Yeah.
No matter what company they're from.
Okay.
Right. And it's funny because the vendors say, we love sponsoring bar camp. Everybody's so nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's not that they're not nice.
Yeah.
But there's a different vibe everybody's decided on.
Gotcha.
That day.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it started very small and with no intent. We had gone to one that was really small in Orlando and was kind of just getting started in the country. And we're like, let's I asked a few of my friends at different real estate companies.
Yeah.
You guys want to do this? You know?
Yeah.
And Glenn went for it, which was great. Who's our AE. And, we had 140 some 50 people here. We did it one more time. The next year was 200. Then we moved to the college and we did it there until we had 700. And we're like, they're going to yell at us. People are on the curbs. And,
So you were still doing it at 700 at NEFAR?
No. We moved to the college.
Okay.
And then when we got to 700, we were like, okay, we're going to have to sell less than 700. We can't sell that many tickets because, people were parking where they shouldn't be parking. And then we said, well, let's go to World Golf Village. Well, then we're like, wow, if we do that, hotels cost a lot of money. We're going to need like 1,000 people. And can we do that? We never were trying to do that. And then it got to where, we would sell out, like 1,300 tickets. We actually had to dial it back because it was too big for the space. But it's the biggest one in the country because I speak and travel and teach. I've made a lot of friends. So that kind of really helped us for me to call in some favors. Yeah. And ask some national speakers for a lot less than they would normally ever be compensated. But they believe in the heart of it.
The heart of it.
And they enjoy it. And it's almost look at it like a time of them getting together.
Right.
Too.
Right.
And and it's been
great.
Well received, I guess.
And it's at the top of the year, giving agents an opportunity as they're planning their year and looking forward to different things they want to do and different things they want to implement. You have so many vendors there. It's the perfect time of the year to have that.
Yeah, and it's affordable. Last year, the tickets were $39. I joke it includes a $48 box lunch.
Yep.
But that's all the speakers and this trade show, and it's the best $39 you'll ever.
Yeah, you invest.
You'll ever invest.
That's right.
In your real estate career. So, but I think that sharing is one of the most powerful things that we can do in anything, whether it's, friends sharing on, how they save money at the grocery store or how to work on your marriage or how to be successful in real estate. If you've got something good, don't hold back.
Don't hold back. So talk to us about that, because we had a conversation before we started about sharing, about how you are good with sharing, and someone in your family said, why do you just give stuff away? Why do you share? Talk to us about that.
Well,
it's so significant.
I think it's misguided for someone to believe, I hold the secrets. I say, I hold the secrets to real estate. I live in abundance. I don't mean that in any arrogant kind of way. It's just I feel very confident and very solid in who my provider is, I guess I would say. And if God's got something for me, I'm going to get it. It doesn't matter what I share, how much I tell, and I've done it for years, and it's never failed you. It's never failed me. and in the meantime, it can feed your soul. Yeah. There's people you could have 100 people in a room listen to what you say and feel like it was smart. And then how many people actually do it? And then how many people keep doing it to get the result? But when you do see that happen, it feeds your soul. I think that going back to confidence, but you want to be able to celebrate other people's success.
Exactly.
And I'll be honest. Even in bar camp, it gave me opportunities to, hey, why don't you be a facilitator? Why don't you? I lead the women at my church. I have lots of places that I can talk and share my heart or whatever. It doesn't have to be the Kim thing. Yeah. It's a great opportunity for me to raise up other women. This is your time to step up and worship. Come on, you need to step up here because he's gifted. We all have gifts. Yes. We all have gifts, right? Yes. And I just think there's something special about lifting other people up so they can shine. And
I just figured out the answer to the question as to why everybody loves Kim.
What?
Because you share. You have an open heart. You share. You don't hold back, whether it is guiding, whether it is teaching, whether it is inspiring, whether it is encouraging. you share. So the person who says, Mom, or I don't know if it's your son or whomever said, why do you give everything away? Like, you don't even look at it as giving it away.
Right.
That's not even the default.
So I'll tell you something. Can I tell you something related to that?
Sure.
It's funny because I don't like to be the focus of attention.
Wow.
Okay. And then when I tell people that, they're like, but you're up in front all the time.
I was going to say, but you do it so well.
but understand my mindset.
Okay.
Is that if I'm teaching and I feel like I'm giving someone value, I'm giving you something that you can use, whether, it's a spiritual thing and, we're at church and empowering your life or your marriage or with your kids or your prodigal or whatever, or it's in real estate. When I'm up, in my head, I'm not the center of attention. In my head, I am giving something. But if you want to put me in front of the spotlight and go, hi, everybody, this is Kim, blah, blah, blah. She's na, 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 na. I'm like, oh, God, can we,
Right.
And so that's what I don't like. I'm uncomfortable. And most people wouldn't understand that. You'll see, if I was in the Florida Realtor Leadership Academy, like 18 or 20 people make it a year. I'll be in the second row end in all the pictures.
Wow.
It's like, isn't that? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't match.
I know.
But I can kind of get it when you said when I'm giving someone something, it's really about them at that moment. You're sharing it with them. It's not about you. I guess I can kind of understand it, but I'm a little shocked because you are a great speaker and you're always in front and you're always leading and guiding. You came in today and somebody wanted you to pop your head in their classroom to say hello because everybody loves Kim. But no, that's awesome though. That's awesome.
I think that, and I know there's got to be people out there that don't love Kim, but I'm glad there's some kind of majority.
You got the majority that do.
But I think that we just got to get over ourselves.
Yeah.
I think that we have to be okay to make mistakes. We have to be okay to be embarrassed. Get over it. Right. We have to be okay, to not know everything, to not have all the answers. And somehow the bravado of this fake confidence is those things. And actually it's the opposite, right? And I think that when you can get to a place where you're like, oh, I just said the dumbest thing. Or, nope, that was wrong.
Right. I fumbled that ball.
Own it. And hashtag nobody died. And you just sort of move on. But people, especially in the age of social media and all this junk, it's funny, like, I'll take pictures with people.
Yeah.
And they're like, do you want to see it? And I go, does it matter?
Yeah.
Unless my eyes are closed.
Yeah.
I can't do much about hiding that. And, this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
Not that you don't want to look good, but
right.
They get so intense about it, right? That it's not real. I said, they don't want to do video and talk and tell. I know really smart people. Really smart people in this industry that could tell a great story, and they're like, oh, I don't want to be on video, and then they want to do it 10 times like it's a script, and I'm like, just be yourself. Just be yourself. Be real. People are going to respond to that better.
Right.
Do a video when you're having a bad hair day.
And talk about having a bad hair day.
It's okay.
It's okay.
But I just think that people need to get over themselves and know that, having real confidence, true confidence, is being able to not make mistakes, to be wrong, to fail, to get embarrassed sometimes.
And to say you're sorry.
Like it happens.
Yeah.
And
that speaks back to the confidence you said, and also the faith. It's the faith. I think, the cornerstone of Knapp is your faith. And you talked about, the confidence you had to build, having to move and go to different schools and making friends that required a certain grit, I'm sure. Combine those things together and just being authentic like that makes for a really wonderful person. You know what I mean? But we're still fallible, right?
Yeah. You don't believe it? Ask your spouse.
But real. Or ask your kids. Oh, they'll keep it 100 and $1 with you all the time.
My granddaughter asked me, she's 18, so, and she's grown up in this, world of, and she's like, Grandma, how is it that you don't care what people think? And I said, well, it's not like I don't care, right,
Mhm.
Haley? I said, but I can't let what other people think affect my joy. What someone else thinks about me,
Is
especially
there?
when they don't know me,
Yeah.
right? That doesn't whatever they think doesn't affect my marriage, doesn't affect my job, doesn't affect my friends, doesn't affect my relationship with God. So how can I let that disrupt my day and my peace? Because so you're giving people
Too much
that
power.
have way too much power,
Yeah, too much
way too
power.
much power. But I
Mhm.
think that we see a lot of that today
Mhm.
because of social media. People are attached to dopamine hits that they
Mm.
get off of likes and comments,
Mhm.
which is not even real.
Mm. You don't even know the people.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's like, we're friends, are we?
Are we?
Like, when was the last time I saw you
Right.
or spoke to you in my life?
Mhm.
It's been 20 years,
Mhm.
whatever. Not that you don't have acquaintances or didn't have a friendship, but these aren't people that are speaking into your life.
No.
And then the opposite is that they're closed off and they don't have good people speaking into their life.
Right.
I said to someone the other day who was, talking with me, and they're in a tough situation in their relationship, and I said, "Who's speaking into your lives?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Well, Tom and I have been together 34 years, and he's my best friend, and I love him more now than I did. And that's not just blah, blah. It's, honestly, it's me and God, him really helping me understand men better." I'm like, women are always like, "You don't understand us." I'm like, "But are we trying to understand them either?"
Right.
Probably not. So, but really, but it wasn't always, we went through seasons.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't every day sunshine and daisies.
Yeah.
And I said, there was a time in my marriage where I had one person that was going, "You know what? You're making all the money right now. Why are you listening to him? Whatever." I had someone else say, "Kim, you made a covenant commitment for the rest of your life. What are you going to do about it?" So who's speaking into your life? And I think that they often have no one speaking into their lives,
Right.
except the dopamine they're getting, which is all fake,
Mhm.
and whatever algorithm they got sucked into on TikTok or Instagram. So I
Wow.
think that it's important who speaks into your life.
That's
and you
right.
need to have people that love you enough to tell you the truth in love.
In love.
I heard someone say once that, what did they say? That love without truth is flattery, right? But truth without love is brutal, right?
Exactly.
So I think that that's important.
That's so important. Wow. That's so important. So let's talk about the women that you talked about your church and the role you have in your church and the women that you lead. Like, are you over a ministry in church? Okay, got it.
Yeah. So we have about maybe 250-ish women, in our church. And, it's interesting, and I'll just say this if this affects anybody out there, but, sometimes people fail us. Right. So I had my own little ridiculous journey of church hurt, and it started in New York and reconciled and all that. But, I was doing some women's ministry, and then this thing happens, and I moved down here, and I sat on my hands and I said, "God, I'm going to prove to all the people who aren't here seeing me, that don't know that I'm not doing anything, I'm going to prove I'm not doing anything." God was like, "Go on with your bad self.
Go on.
We're going to work through that, my dear." So,
don't you love it that God knows us so well? He can. We say, "I'm not doing that."
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he was like, not shocked. He knew what I was going to do, and he's like, "Fine, I'll teach you in this." But and then when the senior pastor at my church, he's since retired, but he asked me to come see him about 6 or 7 years ago, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and I thought, I wonder what he wants, And he didn't know anything about diddly. He didn't know anything about anything, and he said, "I wanted to talk to you today and see if you would be open to leading the women's ministry." And I was like, "What you talking about, Will?"
Because I told God I was not doing anything.
So I went home and my husband's like, "What did he want?" And I told him. He goes, "And you said yes, right?" And I said, "No, I did not." I said I was coming home and talking to you. I don't know. I was buying time. And but I really knew there was conviction, right? That I needed to do that. So fast forward now, it's just beautiful women, beautiful women. And I'll just say this plain too, since we're talking about it.
Yeah.
I got fire insurance when I was 18 at a church in Illinois.
Mm.
I didn't want the rest of the Jesus stuff. I just wanted fire insurance. I was like, that other stuff, I don't know. And when
she's funny too.
So I got to upstate New York, and that's when I really, got my life right, with the Lord, and met my husband, and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I don't even know why I started to go there, but oh, I know why.
Uh-huh.
So my church is in New York. It's in the city, and it was so multicultural.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, whether it's black, white, African, Spanish, Hispanic, Puerto Rican, whatever, old, young, languages, everything. And that was our home. That's where we got saved. That's where we, got baptized. That's where we dedicated our children. That's where we lived. That's who we hung out with. I mean, then we moved down here.
Right.
I was like, oh, there's rules down here. I guess we've been assigned. My husband and I were like, we don't get it, So, and that's changed a lot. We've been here 25 years.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, 25 years ago,
it
was a lot different.
Yeah.
And one of my girlfriends came down here.
I've been here 26.
Who's not white.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, it's really white, and I said, and that was just where we were in church and things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so anyway, it's come a long way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things I love about where I am.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about, I'm like, well, it's not good if it's not diverse. It's not even that.
Yes.
It's there's something powerful and dynamic about different people who come from different places, who have different outlooks and understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess that's why I love working with groups. Whether it's bar camp or being on committees or doing things. I like consensus and working with different people. And I always tell people, I don't need a bunch of people who agree with me and say, "Oh, Kim, you're so smart." Like, well, you're not helping.
Right.
Because I'm not that smart. You need people that can have some chutzpah and go, "Well, I don't know, but are you thinking about this or what about that?"
Challenge you.
That's what makes you come out with really good stuff, right?
Right.
And
because if the same people have the same ideas, you're going to always have the same thing. It's just going to be recycled.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Completely. And anyway, I was just thinking about that when I started thinking about the women in my church. I just have these great women. And so we started a women's conference a couple years ago. The first year we had like 225 women come, and half of them were not from our church. And last year we had like 300, half of them not from our. And we don't care.
Yes.
This is not a recruiting event.
Right.
This is just a ministry event. And so we're actually getting ready for our third one.
Wow.
And we'll still have it at the church, and then we'll see how it goes, see what God does, and then maybe we'll go somewhere else next year.
I love it. That is so awesome.
Yeah.
You're awesome.
I don't know about that. You're pretty awesome too. I mean,
listen, I'm just saying. I'm sitting here talking like, man, I'm learning more about Kim and more about Kim. But that is the beauty of talking and sharing. And I always say, I have two daughters. Mm-hmm. They're both millennials. One's a Gen Z. The other's a millennial. My daughter tells about my son like, those Z's are crazy. But at any rate, and I'm constantly learning from them, and I'm constantly pouring into them. Mm-hmm. And so I think as women, we need to, whether it's our daughters, our nieces, our friends, those that we work with, whomever, we just have to always be inspiring and encouraging. You just never know who needs what at what given time. And so when you can be that beacon of light and that beacon of hope, and when you come in, there's smiles and people are just happy because you bring that energy with you. That's special.
But that's rich what you just said.
What's that?
About women, us pouring into, whether it's, daughters or younger women. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you buy into the scripture, you got a mandate to do that.
We do.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But if you think of ourselves, when you're 20, you think you know a lot. When you're 15, you think you know a lot, mm-hmm. right? And then you get 5 years or 10 years older, you're like, oh Lord, mm-hmm. I wish I would have known this then, right? And you realize like how much we do, how much we came by a lot of it honestly.
Yeah.
Because we had to go through it.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
To learn it.
Mm-hmm.
You can just read it in a book.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a lot to offer and a responsibility, I think, to do it.
Yeah. And that's it, the responsibility. It's you said a mandate, it's stewardship, mm-hmm. right? God makes us steward over opportunities, over responsibilities, over people. and we have to do the right thing and do right by them. So thank you, Kim Knapp.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Didn't she have a lot to say? Isn't she wonderful? I mean, just, again, we don't have to go decades and decades back to find phenomenal women. There are phenomenal women right among us. And during this Women's History Month, I want to highlight those women, because they are the women that are trucking it and doing it and just helping other women to be the best version of themselves. So thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Listen, thank you so much for tuning in to this 5th episode of the 2nd season of the Trust and Know the Jackie Boy podcast. We come on every 2nd and 3rd Tuesday of every month, and we're bringing you people who have something to say. We want to give you information, education, but mostly inspiration to help you become the best version of yourself. All you have to do is put in trust, T-R-U-S-T, then T-H-E-N, and know, K-N-O-W, and you'll find all of our episodes. If you've heard anything here today that you like, please share and subscribe to the Trust and Know the Jackie Boy podcast. We would love for you to be a part of the Jackie Boy podcast family. So again, until next time, do whatever you need to do. Get the information you need, the education you need, but most importantly, the inspiration you need to be the best version of yourself. Bye. Thank you, Kim. Bye.
Thank you for listening and watching this episode of Trust, Then Know, the Jackie Boy podcast. We hope this episode has left you informed, intrigued, and inspired to become your best self. Remember to tune in every 2nd and 4th Tuesday of the month and trust, then know.